Welcome to the Having It All podcast, the show about what it takes to live an abundant, loving life. My name is Matthew Bivens, and each week I'm helping you get out of your head so that you can truly have it all. Let's do it. What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to the podcast. And not just any episode, this is the final episode of 2019. Man, can y'all believe it? We made it through 2019. I feel it's like super cliche to say it, but I feel like I was just talking about kicking off the year, setting my word for the year, my intentions, talking about goals, and being excited for the season to change and for it to get warm here in Atlanta. And like, dang, it's end of the year. It's a beautiful thing though. We've got the end of 2019, we've got the end of a decade. And really, though, it's the beginning, right? It's the beginning of new opportunities, new year, new decade. We're going to be all starting some new experiences, and we're all going to be having some new breakthroughs. And so I'm very excited for 2020 and very excited for all that it's going to bring. So in today's episode, I just want to be brief. I want to do a little bit of reflecting on the last year, the last decade. I want to do a little bit of intention setting and ask a couple of questions that can help us just get clear as to who we want to become in the following year and the following 10 years. And I just want to leave you all with a little bit of love and a couple of words as we wrap up the year and flow into just some more magic. So I want to kick things off by talking about my life over the last 10 years and just recapping some of those big moments, I think it's really important that we all just take stock of how far we've come, what we've accomplished, what we've gone through, some of the crummy stuff as well, and how we've grown and healed and transformed as we've just continued to chip away and move forward in life. And so for me, the past decade has been tremendous. One of the first things that happened in this past decade was I completed grad school, got my master's degree. And that was huge for me, Getting that degree was a great accomplishment, and jumped into my first big job outside of school, which was a lot of fun. Man, I cut my teeth. I worked at a startup company and just no adult supervision. I'll just say that. We were all young in our early 20s and didn't know anything, and yet we had a lot of a big goal, a big dream, and a lot of money to play with. So it was just a really interesting experience. And in the past 10 years, I moved to a new city. I never thought that growing up in Atlanta, and leaving to go to school in Florida, I never thought I would be returning to Atlanta to live. But that's what I chose. And so coming back to the city, all those like about 10 years later, very, very fresh perspective and, out for new experiences. So that was really beautiful. And I took a huge leap of faith into entrepreneurship. Letting go of the security of a job that had a reliable paycheck and benefits and all that, and just dove into entrepreneurship, which has been the most fantastic journey and one of the hardest things I've ever done. And it continues to serve me up with these humbling moments where I'm like, boy, I thought I knew something, and then bam, entrepreneurship smacks me in the face. And so it's just been a beautiful process of growth, really, inside out. And one of the really amazing things, it's got to be near the top of my list for sure, is getting engaged and married in the last 10 years. I met my wife, Sarah, about 10 years ago, and it was just incredible chemistry right off the bat and really became best friends. And I think that was one of the most special things about our relationship is we formed a very, very deep friendship first. And that friendship then evolved into intimacy and love and all those beautiful things. So getting engaged was a lot of fun. Really, really did the engagement in our style. We were at a creek with our dogs, and we were, in our workout gear and hiking and doing all that stuff, and popped the question. It was great. And our wedding was also in our style as well. It was very DIY. We had our friends and family involved in the decorating, and one of our friends was our officiant and DJ and photographers. We just had so many people in our lives that we loved get involved in our wedding. And it was so much fun. And you know what? I got to give a special shout out to Sarah because I'm a huge Halloween guy. Halloween is my month. I love costumes and getting dressed up and all that. And I pitched the idea to Sarah that instead of us doing a rehearsal dinner for our wedding, that we would do a Halloween party. And so we decided that we would get married on November 1st, and on October 31st, on Halloween, we would throw a Halloween party and invite all the wedding guests to the party. And that's what we did. And it was so much fun. We had such a blast hosting everybody at our house. And it was just, again, it was our style just to throw a big party like that in lieu of a rehearsal and dinner and all that stuff. And we even had a couple's costume. It's not your typical couple's costume. I went as if you remember the movie Jurassic Park, Samuel Jackson from Jurassic Park, he's one of the technicians. I went as him, and Sarah went as the dinosaur who bites my arm off. So we had a lot of fun. I met just my love in the past 10 years and, connected and formed and continued to just forge this incredibly deep, intimate, beautiful, spiritual, loving, sexy, awesome relationship with her. And yeah, that's just been such an amazing part of the past 10 years. And then, of course, starting a family, deciding that we wanted to expand and bring new life into the world and, welcoming baby Maya, who's no longer a baby. She's over 3 years old now, and she's 3 going on 23. And just all of the lessons that I've learned from her have been incredible. And I've loved being a dad. I had this belief and feeling that I was really going to like being a dad and I was going to be great at it. But man, I had no idea. Being a dad has been the most fun thing, hands down, that I've ever jumped into. And every day it just continues to unfold. And I'm not blowing smoke up anybody's butt about that. Like, every day being a dad has been great. It truly, truly has. And, one of the things I'm playing for in 2020 is to work with and support other fathers and partners, especially around that transition period when you are pregnant, and as a husband, as a partner, like, that's a tough period to go through, right? You're watching your partner go through pregnancy and things are changing with her body and all these different things. And so I have found that experience, there's some specific things that you can do and some things to avoid that can really help prepare you for parenthood and for fatherhood, and can really help support, your queen, your baby mama through that experience. And so one of the things that I'm playing for in 2020 is to really work with those men and work with those partners to be able to show up as the powerful people that you know yourselves to be, so that you can create the most amazing birth, the most amazing transition into parenthood and beyond. So I'm putting that intention out there for 2020 and beyond for myself. Another highlight in 2019, actually, no, this was in 2015, 16. This was launching the podcast. This podcast was born in this past decade, and this has been such an unexpected source of magic and adventure for me. It really has. I had very few goals and expectations with this show when I launched it. I just knew that there was something in my spirit that I wanted to talk about, and I believe that other people were interested in having conversations like this. So I just pulled the trigger and took a leap of faith, and it has been so incredible. I mean, this year alone, I've connected with hundreds of you on Instagram and through my email inbox, and we've had hundreds of amazing conversations, and that has been incredibly humbling. It really has been. And so the show hit some huge milestones. We hit 1 million downloads last year, and it just continues to soar. So having it all has been a source of tremendous joy in my life, tremendous magic in my life, and tremendous connection, feeling of being connected with myself, with something bigger, and connected to you. And that has been awesome. The past 10 years have also been really challenging for me with transition and saying goodbye to loved ones. I hadn't experienced major loss in my life until the past couple of years. And then all of a sudden it just felt like they were stacked. Boom, 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 boom. And, my grandmother transitioned, and I was very, very close with my grandmother, Naomi Bivens. And she continues to be a source of inspiration and light and just love and laughter in my life as I reflect on our memories together and our moments together. But it was so hard, so hard to experience her transition. And, it continues to be hard. And that was followed by my uncle. He transitioned a couple months ago, and that was incredibly hard as well. It was very sudden, and it rocked my family in a way that obviously you never expect those things to happen, and you don't really know how people are going to handle it and everything. And so it just like that, those losses, they hurt and they hit deep. And for anybody who's experienced tremendous loss in 2019 or the past 10 years, my heart is with you and my condolences, and I'm sending you love and light and strength, because it's just, there's nothing easy about it, and there really is nothing you can do to make it feel much better. Like, you can do little things, but it just takes time, and that's the advice nobody wants to hear, but yeah, it just takes time. And one of the most unexpected transitions that my family experienced is three of our dogs, three of our pets, three of our family members transitioned, and that totally hit me in a way that I never expected. We had three dogs in 3 years, almost a year apart. Boom, boom, boom. And I grew up with dogs ever since I was little, and I'd never experienced that type of just speed in which they decided to depart. And so I know I wasn't prepared, and I'm still reeling from that. Like, you guys, I'm still reeling from that, and it's still hard to talk about. But it all of those people and loved ones who transitioned recently, what they do is they really help remind me of the importance of being grateful for the folks who are in my life today, because they may not be here tomorrow. And it really has helped me to pause more and reflect and take stock of all the amazing people and things that I do have in my life, and be grateful, and to tell people that I love you, like, just, I love you, and really not being shy about sending that love out to folks, because, my uncle announced that he was sick to my family. He had kept it to himself. He had been sick for just a little while, but when he announced it, he had transitioned in less than a week. And my dogs, two of those dogs, when they got sick, they were gone in less than 24 hours. And like, the speed at which somebody can be here and not be here is just unbelievable. And so really going through those experiences in the past couple of years, I like to think I've come out of them, expressing more love to those people who are close to me, giving bigger hugs, deeper hugs, tighter hugs, spending more time being present with Maya, shutting off the phone and just being present with her and looking at her and, just soaking up all those moments, because again, you never know what's next. You never know what's next. And I think it's also helped me to not hold grudges against people, against friends, against, anybody, because that's energy that, you pour that in, you can't get that back. And I think one of the worst things would be to have lost one of these people in my life while in the midst of having a heavy grudge against them. That just would have felt really rough for me. So I like to look at those experiences of loss, of transition. I'm going to use that word, the experiences of transition, as I've gotten something from them and I've learned something from them that I'm now applying to my life today, and that I will be continuing to apply to my life in 2020. And, the past year has just been a year of a lot of breakdown, a lot of emotions. I've cried more this past year than I've probably all those 33 years combined. Just a lot of, feeling the ebbs of life I felt in 2019. But what's kept me strong and kept me moving forward is I understand that after an ebb is a flow, right? After the tide goes out, the tide comes back in, and the moon waxes and wanes. Like, it's just part of nature. It's just how things go. So I've been able to stay strong and stay centered as best as I can throughout those tough moments, knowing that there is some magic and some things on the other side that maybe I don't understand right now, or maybe I don't see right now, but I can fall back on faith and trust. Even when those two things are some of the hardest things in the world, faith and trust. And so this year has been giving me really great lessons in that, breakdown leads to breakthrough. And sometimes that breakthrough is just minutes away, moments away. And we want to just give up and give up faith and let go and say there's no hope. But that breakthrough is right there. And so I know that I'm still I'm like waiting on a couple breakthroughs. I'm like, yo, universe, I placed some orders. I'm waiting on these breakthroughs to come through, And so if you're like that, if you've been just sitting like, okay, all right, I'm done taking my licks. Like, I don't need to get smacked in the face anymore. Like, I got the lesson. Let me get the breakthrough now. Let's just keep trusting. And, let's put it out there that we'd love to experience it in 2020. And if it doesn't come in 2020, then, hey, you know what? There's some greater plans in store for us, that it's okay if we don't understand them. We'll just keep trusting. The past few years, past decade, past year has just also been about expanding and pushing my limits. And one of the things that I've realized is that I am so much stronger than I ever knew. So much stronger, so much more capable, so much more resilient, more resourceful, more intelligent, more compassionate, more forgiving, more loving than I ever knew. And it's through going through the breakdowns and being humbled again and again and again that I learned that I've discovered my strength and discovered those things that were in me all along. And so I love that, and I'm and embrace that. And my intention is to keep using those skills and those talents and those gifts in the new year, and to just keep pouring them out into you all and pouring them out into others as much as I can. And so, I've earned my stripes in a lot of ways in the past year, especially as a leader. Definitely been earning my stripes as a leader, and that's been very intentional, and I've been taking on leadership roles all over the place, from play camp and helping people to connect with their bodies and connect consciously towards fitness, and being a leader in my circle of influence, my COI, my accountability group, and helping folks to really understand what it looks like for them to live their most abundant, loving life, and then hold them accountable, hold them to that process, giving feedback, and leading my family, leading my family powerfully when it comes to how we want to live financially and how we want to be in our own integrity. Like, what does it look like for us to be the tight family that we want to be, and stepping up as the leader in my family. And like I said, earning stripes, like the only way you earn your stripes is you go through battles, and you go through the muck, and you go through the trenches. And, I've been doing that, and I continue, and it's all been beautiful. In the past 10 years, it's been really amazing to step into the work of being a balanced lifestyle coach, and really creating and holding space for others and supporting others in living with purpose, living with balance, living with love. And I absolutely adore the work. I really do. I get so filled up by it. I just jumped off of a client call before recording this, and part of the reason why I just jumped into this recording was because I felt so filled up and so fired up from the call that I had, that I just knew that my energy was peaking, and now I can pour it into this episode. And that's what I get out of being a balanced lifestyle coach. And the journey to getting there, and the journey of being a coach, has been very tough. It's not like I have a blueprint as to what I'm supposed to be doing. There's been a lot of things that I've been learning along the way, and a lot of things I've been creating myself. And that has been awesome, because through all of it, I've opened up new levels of honesty and vulnerability within myself that have helped me as a coach, helped me when I get into these really amazing conversations with the people that I have the opportunity to work with. So it's been really amazing being a balanced lifestyle coach in 2019 and the years before that. And I'm excited to where it goes and where I take it in 2020. And I think above all, to kind of wrap up my reflection, these past years have been one where I've really connected with my purpose. And I've been very intentional of incorporating my passion into my work, and even beyond that, incorporating my passion into my daily life and truly living a life where I have it all, my abundant, loving life, designing that, walking that, and experiencing that. And I think that's been just one of the hallmarks of me in 2019 and the past decade. So that's my reflection, everybody. I appreciate you all hanging out and just learning a little bit about the past 10 years of my life. And, I recommend for you, in whatever way it looks like for you, reflect for yourself on 2019 and on the past decade. If you're into journaling, cool, grab your journal and just start writing, thinking about some of the big moments in your life. And big moments can be great things and not great things. And so, I recommend just thinking about what lessons you've learned about yourself in the past decade. What are those big lessons, those big takeaways? If you were to be talking to yourself, what advice would you give you going into 2020 based on everything that you learned? What advice would you give yourself? And let's say 10 years when it's 2029 and you're reflecting and you're looking back, what advice would you give yourself then that still applies to today? That reflection process is just powerful, and there's so many things for us to learn. And I know you've been walking the path towards creating your own abundant, loving life, towards being that awesome version of you that you want to be. And we spend so much time walking forward and looking forward and focusing ahead that it's so easy to forget the importance of stopping and turning around and looking at how far we've come. And so that's the space I'm holding for you, is to, as we flow into 2020, to just take a moment to reflect on the past year, reflect on the past 10 years. Think of those amazing moments, those milestone moments, those moments where you've been incredibly humbled, those moments of breakdown, and think about the breakthrough that has come as a result. Think about the big pieces of magic you've created. And then think about all those lessons, all those things that you've learned that you want to flow into the new year. And, I'm holding that space for you and for myself. That 2020 is just the turning point that you've been waiting for. That 2020, it provides all those breakthroughs that you've been preparing for. All those things you've been lining up in your life. I'm holding the space that 2020, that's when the lead domino tips over and all the awesome magic starts to just flow. All the abundance starts flowing your way. And I'm also holding the space for you that you grow in your ability to create joy in the face of circumstances. Because you know what? All those things that you want may not happen in 2020. They just may not. That may not be the right time for them to come to fruition. And so if life starts to serve you up with circumstances, like serves you up stuff that sucks, that you really don't enjoy, I'm holding the space that you can create a little bit of joy in the face of that circumstance. That you can create a little bit of peace in the face of some chaos. Because life does ebb and flow. It's not always going to be peachy. It's not always going to be rosy. But if you can create joy and happiness and peace in the face of all of that, listen, you truly have it all. Nothing can stop you. Nothing can hold you back when you're able to create joy in the face of anything that is presented to you. So I am putting that intention out for you as well in 2020, that you can create that and that you can truly experience that. So that's it for me today. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I wish you could see my face right now. I got a big old smile because I just know we're all going to have some really, really incredible magic in 2020 and beyond. So the podcast is evolving. We are going to be ending season 3. Boy, I should know that, right? But we're ending a season and we're starting a new one, starting in the new year. And that's going to be tremendous. I've got some changes that I'm bringing to the podcast. Some things are going to stay the same. Some things are going to evolve and change. And I'm excited about that because I've changed. I've evolved since this show has launched. You've changed. You've evolved since the first episode you've listened to, so it's only fitting that the podcast changes along with us. And I'm excited for that. I know that there's some really beautiful things coming, and I'm creating some fun stuff. I think the next big fun thing that's going to happen is the first Trust Challenge of 2020. So stay tuned. I'm going to be announcing when the Trust Challenge is starting and when you can begin signing up. So expect that to be coming soon. And if you haven't yet created your word for the year, you obviously still have time. Go and listen to the episode. I think it's 2 episodes before this. It's all about creating your word for the year in 2020. And there's the episode and a free tool that I've created for you to help you build out your word for the year. And your word for the year can be a very, very powerful thing. It can help give you focus. It can help give you purpose and have you feeling aligned with a purpose for yourself for the year. And it can help motivate you in times when things get rough. So all of those things can happen by simply having a single word that you're going to use to inspire you and fuel you throughout the year. So my word for 2020 is love. That's who I'm playing to be, is love. Show up with more love, give more love, experience more love, and be more love. And so that's what I'm playing for 2020. So if you do not yet have your word for the year, it can really be an incredible tool for you. So go and listen to that episode. Again, it's 2 episodes before this. And go download the free tool, MatthewBivens.com/word, WORD, and you can download the free tool that'll help you design your word for the year. And with that, everybody, have an awesome, awesome New Year's Eve. Please be safe. Please be in just gratitude for all the magic you've created and in celebration of all the things you're going to create. And just keep being awesome, everybody. And I will see you in the new year. My name is Matthew Bivens. Here is to you having it all. Quick note about the Having It All podcast. I am not a doctor nor a licensed therapist. I'm a guy with a story and a passion for conscious conversation. My thoughts, opinions, and beliefs are my own. So please consult with your doctor or healthcare provider regarding any questions or issues you have related to your personal, physical, or mental health.